In the heart of the LA motorsports world, there's one name that stands out. Mickey Cohen Motorsports. Known for their expertise in tuning Harleys, Indians, sport bikes, and UTVs, Mickey Cohen Motorsports is a powerhouse in the industry. The owner, Mickey, is a vocal advocate of Dynojet products and frequently uses them over other tuning products to deliver horsepower results. Today, we chat with Mickey to pick his brain on his choice for sticking with Dynojet and the state of the tuning world overall.
I mean, I've been with Dynojet a long.
How many years, ballpark?
Well, that would be 1990, 1991. Yeah. I'm really well known for like, to the fucking point.
Yes.
Here it is. If I hurt your feelings, I don't care.
Yes,
but you're gonna get what you're gonna get something that actually works.
You're gonna be real.
Yeah. Right. And you know, we have a lot of guys come down from like San Francisco. There's some shop up there that claims he's tuning these. I'm like, you ain't tuning those.
Sure.
And you know, whatever. And they all just have these bullshit stories.
Yeah.
And the side-by-side guys in the industry on the internet, they're even worse because they talk about crankshaft. Well, you're not even pulling the motors out, so you just completely estimating the crankshaft.
Well,
I've always been on Dynojet's side with no, don't do what these other guys are doing. Because I know they agree with it.
Sure.
Well, they basically have made the statements with me, and I'm like, no, we do rear wheel horsepower. We do what goes to the ground.
What you're gonna feel every time
you're actually gonna feel every time you ride.
Yep.
And I tell a lot of customers, you know, I can lighten the drum mass up, and I can drop my dyno below sea level and give you whatever number you think you want to hear.
You need to be over 200? I'll do it. But
I'll
your
do
bike's
it.
laying down 155.
Right, here, hang on, let me change this, now make a run. There you go, it's 205
Here's
now.
your printout.
During our visit, a customer came in to visit Mickey as something was wrong with his Harley-Davidson.
Yeah, so it's got a cam, it's punched out to 103 cubic inch.
Okay.
Started
at 96, right?
No, actually, technically it was a 103.
Okay.
Because it's the CVO.
So it's a 110.
But it's a whole different, it's a whole different engine now, so it's a completely different crate motor.
What's that throttle body injector?
58 millimeter.
5.3s?
Yeah.
5.3s, okay.
And it has the filling injectors in it.
Okay, I bet they are 5.3s. You know for sure on that one.
Wrote everything down so I don't fuck up for good.
What year is it?
4.9.
4.9s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Injectors.
And then what size is the motor? 110?
No, 100 cubic inch.
100 cubic, so you made it smaller.
Yeah, it's a 100 cubic inch crate motor.
Okay.
Tatro machine is the one that got me.
Okay. So it's a 100-inch motor
Yep.
with 4.9 injectors.
Yep.
And a 58 throttle body.
Yep.
Oh, it is like what, an 07?
Yeah, 2006 technically.
6, okay.
Tuner on right now, so
What's on it? Enhancement or something?
yeah, something else. She's so rich and idle, and when she's cold, she's super rich. Like you can just smell it. Yeah. Top end, she leans out like crazy.
Correlation, that's a flash. Yeah, such a beehole in it.
Yeah, it's like,
I talk about all the time.
Trevor, an employee of Mickey Cohen's, goes to work to prep the bike by removing its current tuner and installing a Power Commander 6, allowing Mickey to see if it really is running too rich.
Woolrich has, what we got going on in here?
Power Commander installed. We capitalized on Vance and Hines' little bracket that they had made to go and mount this guy, and
So we're swapping out a Vance and Hines product?
it was running rich, and I
Couldn't get it
manipulate
tuned.
Yeah, you couldn't manipulate the software, or couldn't get it tuned right. It was
And
running
so
rich.
for you guys, you're Dynojet dealer, right? And so do you say, I don't know how to work on the fuel pack, I'm not gonna deal with it, but if you want Mickey Cohen to tune it, we're gonna put a Power Commander on here for you. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Power Commander, I mean, every tuner has their own choice.
Their tool,
Their thing that they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
We happen to be comfortable with Power Commander.
Dynojet stuff, yeah, okay, cool.
It is kind of the industry standard.
For sure.
You know?
Take a picture of the box over in the corner.
Okay, is it just a bunch of old?
Oh, it's everybody's fucking tuners.
And why?
Because they don't work.
They really, like, Vance and Hines really does not work?
It actually really works very well if you have
Okay.
a totally stock motorcycle with a set of slip-ons.
Okay.
Because it really doesn't change anything. That goes with the guy that needs something cheap.
Yeah, sure.
It just doesn't. He's never had a real tune.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
So he doesn't know
You
how
can drop
important
in
it
the
is.
shop, yeah.
Once you've tuned one,
Yeah.
and you've done certain things to it,
Sure.
you instantly buy a new one and you just go, here, do it. I don't give a crap about warranty.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just
Make it run like the last.
make it run like the last
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And I've heard that so many times. Like, sure, I've never owned a bike that ran this good. This is like I think my biggest statement that I make to people with the Harleys is, I want it to sound like a Harley, run like a Honda.
I guess.
But it's funny. There's a big box in there full of illegal tuner devices.
Yeah.
Like the one that just came off. It's not carb legal.
That
Our Dynojet stuff is all carb legal.
Yes.
How do you beat that?
Have you ever ran?
I know. When somebody tells me too rich or too lean, that's an inaccurate statement.
Yeah.
Because if a bike is too lean, it will actually blacken the back of the pipe up and make it look like it's rich.
Sure.
Because it's misfiring.
Yeah.
So a lot of mechanics that don't know really anything about air, fuel, or tuning, they'll say, hey, your bike is really, really super lean.
Yeah.
It could actually be so overly rich that it seems like it's lean because it's surging and it's doing all kinds of lean things to it. It actually be on the rich side. It could be just the opposite.
If you haven't hooked it up, you don't know.
If you don't put an AFR in it, you honestly should not say it's rich or lean.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you look at like this guy's bike now, I just put blank numbers in it to shit it off.
Yeah.
Dead rich.
Yep.
So he's in the minus 32s and 47s.
Yep.
He's got too big of injectors.
Got it.
Okay. Now you go back and you change the injector. Sure. Now you tell him, hey,
Right. But it's not, your bike isn't running rich because of your fuel pack
so
4.
when you have startup, now it's extra rich because it's the size of the injector. We don't change startup maps.
Right.
So now you kind of get it, you're like, okay, your injector is way too big.
Right.
Where I'm having to dump minus 30s, I'm really telling it to shut up.
Yeah.
Really telling it to close the injector.
Yeah.
And I can't, what it does, you want to pulls with it and it won't pinpoint it because it's so bad.
Got it.
It doesn't know what to do.
But that's got to be the challenge, right? Is guy buys a used bike, doesn't really know. Oh, well, my buddy Frank put a bigger motor in it. Okay, well, I don't know, but it runs like shit. We'll start with it, but it might be hard parts, it might be software. We don't know.
No. And when guys don't know what they have because they buy them used, that's why nobody wants to. The stuff we build, I know what's in it. I know what works because I've seen it.
Yeah.
But like this, now I got to call a customer.
Yep.
Go, hey, the injectors you got are way too big.
Yep.
You sure they're 4.9s?
Right.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because they act like they're 6.2.
Totally. Yes.
Which screws up startup.
Yeah.
Screws up idle. It screws up a whole bunch of things.
And I can't ever get it right.
And I can never get it right.
Yeah.
So it's like now you need to change the mechanical part.
Yeah.
So go away from the tuning side again.
Sure.
It's back to diagnostics. But the dyno is actually a better tool for diagnostics.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no other tool like it.
Yep.
There's nothing else you can do.
Right.
And with our power visions and stuff and our PV3s, you hook them into the cars. I can actually digitally see every single sensor in a car.
What's going on?
And I can see if a sensor is just bad, or I can see if it's got an intake leak just by reading the sensors.
For sure.
I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You got to understand what each sensor does.
Yeah.
But like
it's giving you the data. You need to know what it says.
You need to know what it says. But the Dynojet stuff gives you all the data in lifetime while you're driving it. It's like, here, the car's failing. You can actually look at the data on the screen while it's failing.
Yeah.
You go, hey. The best one I had was I had a Polaris turbo car.
Okay.
Had some miles on it. It was older. It was like a 19.
Yeah.
And he would drive it. It would run perfect.
Okay.
And then he'd pull the throttle 3 or 4 times and he would go to limp home. It turned out to be that inside the tunnel of the car,
Yep.
the harness runs alongside the drive shaft and these rubber grommets.
Yep.
The front grommet had broken. You can't see it through the bottom or through the top.
Sure.
And it was laying on the drive shaft, and while the drive shaft was turning, the one wire it happened to open up and ground was the fuse for the water pump that feeds the cooler for the intake. So watching on the temperatures on the dyno, you could see that temperature gauge of the intake temperature all of a sudden go from 100 to 600, and then it goes to limp home.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, the pump's not working.
Yeah, pump's
and
out.
then traced it back.
Yeah.
Here's a blown fuse to that piece.
Yep, put the fuse back
And now put the fuse in, it blows. Okay, now let's find the wire.
Yep, there's something.
And then it becomes worse because it's a plastic car.
Of course.
So it's 6 hours of taking a whole stupid thing apart and chase the wire.
And we, put a little sheave on your wire and you're all set.
Right, that's it. It didn't even break the wire. It didn't even break the wire, right? Just clean it up and put it back together.
Yeah.
But without the rolling road, you'd never find it.
Never. He would have sold it.
Lastly, we asked Mickey some common tuning questions and his opinions on current power sports trends.
You just tune a motorcycle.
Yeah,
just turn
and
it.
what is it though? Like, what do you see?
Making the air
AFR is
pump
way
way
off,
off.
or it is. Okay.
AFR is always
Always,
off.
okay.
Because it's just like the generic thing where people are mailing ECUs to get something done and get it back.
Yeah.
They don't know what the pump pressure is of your motor.
Right.
They don't know what your exhaust tube size
Barometric
is.
pressure,
They don't know
elevation,
anything. They're just giving you this. They're giving you basically the same thing the manufacturer gave you.
Right.
Here's one that works.
Right. Yeah.
It's not optimum.
It's not your motorcycle on that.
And most of the guys that just get like the flashes, and they send their ECU out, get it flashed, put it in, they come back and go, oh my God, it's so much faster. Well, you're right, because they sped the throttle ramps up and they took the restrictors off.
Sure.
But they really didn't do anything to actually make it run that much better. They really didn't.
Right.
And we see it all the time.
Yeah, interesting.
We see it all the time. So like downloads, I don't do downloads. I refuse to do them because they bite me in the butt.
You're either going to bring it here and we're going to tune it and do it right,
Or I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
As a tuner, right? Consumers have the perception, and you've probably fought this more than anybody, that Power Commander 6 was to be better than Power Commander 5.
No, it's exactly the same.
For sure.
Oh, we got a carb sticker.
For sure. And you have stock parameters. You have plus 15, minus 15.
Correct.
What has been like consumers' reaction to that? Do they accept and say, hey, Mickey, if you can make it run good, I don't care. It's
That's
all
right.
good.
They don't care what I put in it.
Cool.
They don't care what I use.
Good.
They don't care if I used another product.
Yeah.
They don't care.
But they want it to
They just want it to run good.
Yeah. So that you haven't had a whole lot of backlash to say, I don't want the EO one or carb one.
I've had some guys tell me, well, I heard you can't do anything with that PC6.
Sure.
I'm like, yeah, it has 15% adjustability, rich or lean throughout the whole band.
I can do whatever.
And I said, as long as you get your parts in order, you can make the basic map that comes in the motorcycle is pretty good.
That's all
You can make it. You can make it pretty good.
Yeah.
You can get it pretty close.
Yeah.
With staying within a legalness of the EPA.
For sure.
And without jumping out of bounds.
Now you come to me with a gnarly motor build, a crazy cam, and
Then it's got to be a race bike. It's a whole different program.
Yes, yeah.
But it weighs your street bikes, we do a lot of things like that.
Build that
Yes,
plus or minus.
plenty of
Happy
range.
camper.
Plenty of range.
Yep.
You can make it all work. I've had the couple people call and say, PC6 isn't tunable.
Right.
Neither is anybody else's.
Sure.
But this actually is up to 15% plus or minus richer, leaner.
Yes.
But the other stuff is not.
Sure.
It's just locked up and it's done.
Yeah.
And then you have other guys that build product that literally locks the ECU.
Sure.
And you drive around the country, you need to go to a dealer, and they can't even look at your ECU because it's locked.
Yeah.
And I said, as far as I'm concerned, customers own the vehicle.
Yeah.
They own their ECU.
Yep.
They paid you for a service.
Yeah.
You have no right to lock your stuff.
Agreed.
You have no right.
Yep.
I get it when they're doing downloads from somebody, where somebody's just taking a download. Now you're kind of putting somebody else's
Proprietary.
No, I would say more like let's say a download off of a website that you can put into your system.
Yeah.
Well, if that download was made to the optimum, and your car wasn't optimum ready for it,
Sure.
and you blow it up,
Yeah.
or you blow the bike up, so the stuff that's normally downloaded is very mildly done.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's not to the perfection of the motor you have, the vehicle you have.
Sure.
It's something close, even though the description says I got this pipe and da 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 da. It's like it's very safe to put one in.
Yep.
And quite honestly, if the motorcycle or the vehicle is not in the right running order or the right components, you put the tuner in, it makes it worse.
Yes. Have you had?
I've had a lot of
You
them.
have a tired old motor or something.
Yes.
Hey, tune it. Well, man, it'll barely run the red line on the dyno.
Yeah,
buddy.
you'll have guys come in and go, we put injectors in it. Well, what size injectors?
Right.
I don't know. There's no way you can even build a map base for it because the ECU has to calculate the size of the injector.
Sure. And I have no clue what they are, how big, small.
If you lined up five, let's just say Harleys, for example.
Yeah.
If you lined up 5 Harleys, their fuel pressures are 4 to 5 pounds different between all of them, which makes the base map that you're building on the ECU different because it has. If one has less fuel pressure, that means it's a little bit leaner.
Sure.
It needs more fuel added to it to make it work correctly. If it's got more fuel pressure, now the map you jumped into the thing is too rich.
Too rich.
Yeah. So you have to take all these things into consideration. And like when we do the Harleys, most of the time, on the older ones, I would say like the M8's not such a problem anymore. You check the fuel pressure and the static system on it and the drop down system on it before you tune it to make sure. So like a lot of old guys come in with the old ones and I'm like, how old is the fuel system in the tank? And if they can't tell you, then you're definitely doing an inspection on it, and you find that the guy should be at 53 pounds and he's at 28 pounds, but the bike still runs. But it runs shitty, and he thinks it's in the tune. And it's actually in the fuel system. Then you fix the fuel system, then you tune it. And if you do it all right from the start, when the fuel system does start to wear out, it's like the hoses get holes in them, and the ethanol eats all the rubber and all this crap. When you fix it, it goes right back to where it's supposed to be.
Sure.
So
and then you can tune on top of it.
Right. So if
you were doing that, I appreciate it. I did have a question for you on Dynojet's move. More of our move into off-road and UTV parts and accessories, so primarily clutch kits and stage kits. You said you're a huge fan of Dynojet's product in terms of the hard parts. Why? Right? There's a lot of guys in the game. EPI,
Quality.
Okay.
Quality.
Better than the next guy.
Dynojet's the only one out of all of those companies that actually owns dynos and makes them.
Sure.
So they test all the product on it.
And
they make sure it actually works.
Sure.
And obviously, in manufacturing, and coming up with things, they can make things better. So they keep advancing things. Like the Dynojet clutch kit they make for a P-drive clutch for the 21 and up Can-Ams. It works fantastic.
Interesting.
The clutch kit, they sell 2 size arms. They sell a heavy arm and a light arm for guys that have 200 horsepower. Or my other car makes 180 horsepower to run the light arms.
Sure.
And there's so much tunability. It's like tuning the ECUs. Tuning the clutch is the exact same thing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah,
I don't know if you saw like back here. That's all just side by side.
Oh wow!
Those are all clutch kits. Those are all clutch kits, EVs, 56s, charge tubes, clutch kits.
So you stock a decent amount of product, man. That's cool.
Up front, there's another whole shelf.
Okay.
I mean, like big shelf.
Okay. Very cool.
But I buy almost as much as Parts Unlimited buys.
Sure.
But I like the product is good.
But it works.
The company's good. The guys are smart. They know what they're talking about. They don't just talk.
Been around a long time. You've got Dusty, you've got Dan, you've got guys that are, no BS kind of guys. They're going to tell you.
Lawrence Bolton's got one.
Yeah, he's the clutch. He developed a lot of our hard parts. So they're no BS kind of guys. We build product that works.
No, it's tough because as consumer people. I remember years ago helping with Dynojet on phone support. I'll never forget the one customer. He's yelling at me about this power commander. He's yelling at me about it. And you're trying to keep your cool, but he's like, this big piece of shit. Like, and you don't understand. I do a lot of these. There's not a problem. And the guy's like, it won't communicate with the computer. What's on your screen on the computer? Nothing. It's black. You try turning the power on the computer. Oh, and the phone just hangs up. You're just stupid.
That's it for this video. We did shoot more footage with Mickey, so if you're interested in a part 2, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, leave a like and subscribe for more content from Dynojet.